Welcome to the most chaotic Advance Wars by Web match you've ever seen. This is a tier 0 high funds. I don't know if it was a Z game or if it was a custom game, but you've got this crazy mixed base map here in tier 0 and a crazy CO matchup that you don't see a lot. Javier versus Colin. And there's so many crazy things about this match. I don't even know where to begin. So the reason why Javier is tier 0 on this map, too many comm towers, right? Javier gets 20% defense against indirect units, a very solid passive ability, but not anything super good. But here's where Javier shines. Each comm tower grants all units an additional 10% defense. So when Javier gets 2 comm towers, he's got dual strike Kanbei units. 20% attack and defense. Absolutely busted. And Javier's normal power doubles all of those bonuses, so 40% indirect defense, as well as doubling comm tower bonuses, and Tower of Power triples. And Javier with the superpower makes his units basically immune to our indirect damage. Like if it's on like so much as a forest, I think it's guaranteed 0. So artillery's rockets not very good against Javier. But it's still not bad to have a couple because they can still do a lot of damage. Even that 20% indirect defense is really good, but those artilleries can still hit pretty hard. And then we've got Colin. Unit cost is reduced to 80%, so 20% cheaper, but lose 10% attack. Very, very good. You can start pumping out all of these advanced tech up units way earlier, especially since this is high funds. And then even higher funds, Colin's normal power Gold Rush multiplies whatever money he has in the bank just by 1.5, and then hit enter and bang. You just got more money like that, and it's a really cheap power. His superpower, Power of Money, which if you have like at least 200 or 300 grand in the bank, you're like one tapping everything, or at least doing significant damage to it. So Colin's strategy: build up a bunch of money, get all that money banked up, hit Power of Money, and then Javier's units are just obliterated. Javier's strategy: get as many comm towers as possible. And this is mixed base too, so it's even more chaotic. Get as many comm towers as possible and try to blow Colin off the board before Colin gets the snowball. I don't even know where to begin with this map, but you kind of have like this this black corner right here. And then this kind of black line right here. This base can go capture this airport as well as expand down here. This base as well. This city is going to get captured or flipped for sure, but it's like one of those like player one advantage like cities that player one has to go capture. As well as this area, and then the free lander that both sides have 2 free landers to start invading this middle area as well. And both players have 2 labs here and here and here and here. So just what a chaotic map. And you already know this is going to be crazy. You are not prepared for the chaos, and I'm not prepared for having my camera this big, but it fits with the frame with how big this map is. So now you can see like every zit I have, and I do have a skincare routine. Definitely recommend. I hope it gets sponsored by Tiege Hanley because that's what I use. I got those from YouTube sponsors as well, and it seems to work pretty well except for this one giant zit right here, which can't go away, and now you won't be able to stop looking at it. But, okay, this is smart by Javier. Got to go for that comm tower cap right away. You cannot let Colin get any sort of momentum here. You have to get those increased stats. And you also have to break this pipe seam before going after this comm tower because there's no shoal or port or anything for the lander to be able to unload. So you can't unload while the lander's on like a regular C tile. So you got to break that pipe seam first. Everything else, though, so far in this opening seems as normal as you can get for this match. And everyone's just capturing some ports, capturing some cities. This guy's probably going to go for the airport as well. Loading in the infantry to cap that port maybe. And, I mean, you can also have these theaters of naval battle, right? The navies can fight on these lakes here and just start really, like, swinging the game. Okay, But both players are expanding, kind of doing a similar opening here, and I'm just totally lost. A mech. Well, I'm guessing this lander is going to go back, grab the mech, and then drop it off somewhere. I didn't even see these airports right here, too. This map just has it all. This map has everything. This is everything you could ever want in an Advance Wars game, and nothing will make sense. But so far, no fighting, just going in, just trying to get as much territory as possible before these big units start rolling out. And look at this, Colin already has 22,000 banked up already. That's crazy. You don't even have to use Gold Rush. You can just start using Power of Money right away. And just imagine like how much money Colin's going to have when the Gold Rush comes online. The medium tank too. I got distracted by the medium tank. This thing is scary, and White is going to go and try to pressure this area to make sure that Javier never gets the second comm tower. And if Javier never gets the second comm tower, it is wraps. There is no chance that Javier will have anything against Colin. Javier needs 2, maybe 3 comm towers, although it's going to have to push this one really hard in order to actually get that one, since it's pretty close to White's base. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It is within base range there for White's base over there, and we have a T-copter as well. Just got to get as much territory in cities as you can. This is high funds, right? Getting cities are very important in high funds, and comm tower secured, so now Javier will have that firepower advantage, and basically the whole rest of the game until you get Power of Money comes online, right? Colin minus 10% attack with Javier's extra 10% defense. I mean, take a look at this, for example. This infantry right here, trying to shoot this infantry right over here on a port, right? It is getting devastated on the counter attack. It's like Sonya with the counter break. I mean, this is not a winning fight for Colin, even though Javier still has yet to get that second comm tower. Oops. And like, let's just say Javier gets the second comm tower, and it is a 5-8 the other way. It is a 5-8 the other way, even if Colin gets that first strike. So Colin definitely has to contest those comm towers, and also stall out the game a little bit in order for that snowball to happen. And a medium tank goes out to counter this medium tank and also deal significant damage to the pipe seam, so Javier can get the second comm tower. And we'll see how long Colin can stall Javier off the comm tower. But Colin can just keep teching up like this. And the rocket over here, if the rocket was here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, can't quite cover the comm tower, but if the rocket was here, 1, 2, 3, 4, oh my gosh. Colin can just put the rocket right here and then start blasting the comm tower, and Javier's not going to be able to get it. Javier's going to need to build some, like a battleship, or not a battleship, that would be a little... Although the 20% defense against indirects does help that a little bit. Let's just see. Colin rocket against the Javier infantry on a... Oh my gosh. Oh, that's with 2 comm towers. Let's say 1 comm tower. Okay, so it's not too bad, actually. It'll stall the comm tower out for sure, but it's not going to lock it down permanently. And I don't really play Tier 0. I've played exactly 1 Tier 0 game in my life, against Raito 94, in fact, and lost. Just not good at it. I was on the Colin side of Colin Hatchie and just misplayed it. But, you know, we learn for next time. Copter takes a shot and blocks the lander in. So needed to keep that lander close for Black's forces there. But unfortunately, that lander is trapped, and now the medium tank copter can shell it. But the medium tank copter probably have more important jobs, such as blocking that comm tower and trying to make sure that Javier cannot get through. And Javier's dealing a lot of damage to that pipe seam, down to 18 HP. It will get cracked next turn, and then the comm tower will get started. Airport gets started, and Javier moves over here on the left, going after these as well. And a lot of mechs coming out too. The mechs can keep getting ferried with the lander and help out, but mechs are generally not very good on such a big map. But if you have the transports, you know, and you can coordinate your transports, get your mechs to the front lines, then they're not too bad, because they can get good value trades on tanks by just tapping them, since mechs are like less than a cost of half a tank. All right, so how Collins got 42,000 in the bank already, and it's day 6. That's the power of high funds. Yep, there's the rocket locking down the comm tower. Although with the 20%, it's not going to be that much. The defense, I mean, it's not going to be that much of an issue for Javier. Just might need to join cap a little bit. Goes in for the interrupt. This is free. Anti-air's not doing enough, and smacks that tank down to 4. So the medium tank is either going to have to be used to destroy the pipe seam or hit the medium tank back. And this copter also doing nice damage to the infantry. And the anti-air will be able to trade the copter out, though. So not a good value engagement here from Colin overall. Javier can take advantage, but Colin wants to stall this out as much as possible. Might even get the lab flip eventually, and we'll get this port flip, which allows Colin to build a battleship here and lock down the comm tower as well further. But again, once Javier gets the power, that is free because that indirect defense is going to go through the roof. So it's just delaying the inevitable with pointing these indirects at the comm towers. So that Javier indirect defense, very underrated. Yep, copter easily gets traded out, and the medium tank goes in. Great value there. And weakens the pipe seam now, but it's still up to 12, so still can't get through. So Colin is doing a good job of delaying the comm tower, even if you have to sacrifice a copter and a medium tank. That is also going to go through as well. And right now, Javier is actually up. We can like hover here. Javier is up. I got to compare 3, 2, 5. Oh, Javier's up in airport, but Colin's about to get this one. So it's about to be pretty even game on cities. And with this interruption right here, Javier, I don't think is going to get that one anytime soon. This tank is covering, and we have a counter rocket over here from Javier ready to start shelling Colin's forces as well. And could also break this pipe down to hit this side as well. And then you can kind of pincer strike with the top. But Colin's army is connected up here, so it's really hard to isolate this section. But this definitely is a little weaker spot for Colin. Just doesn't have as many production facilities. Okay, anti-air good. If you think does good damage on the anti-air, more damage on the infantry. Gets the interrupt here, and Javier is like really committed for this pipe seam push. But that does allow Colin to kind of hit the outside of Colin's forces, kind of like how the smugglers hit the outer rim of the galaxy in Star Wars, away from the Empire's control, and like, more civilized areas. Okay. But with this copter kind of wards away Colin's attack over here, so Colin's just going to have to retreat. The rocket's protected by this black boat. That was built last turn, and the black boat can supply the rocket with ammunition, and so the rocket can just stay there the whole game. And the rocket is not quite locking down the base. If the rocket moves here, yeah, it would be locking down the base. So I think Javier might have built this rocket as a preventative measure and could put the rocket over here and try to hit the rocket as it tries to lock down the base. But that rocket could be scary, but a tower shield is coming in. A gold rush is also coming in. Colin's about to just be rolling in dough. But I think bought a little bit before using the gold rush, so I needed to have used that gold rush. But maybe Colin's just saving for a power of money. But saving the gold rush this turn, maybe wants to use it later. I'm of the opinion, and this is probably why I lost this, Colin, you should just keep popping gold rush as soon as possible. You do get those extra stats, but that's you want to just get as much money in the bank as possible and try to just get that money. And Colin's just stalling out this comm tower as long as possible. Black has now won this area, and these infantry will slowly get picked off, but it did stall at the comm tower for several turns, and Javier will not be able to get that full benefit of the 20% attack and defense until that comm tower is captured. And look at this, the battleship coming in from Javier. Now this rocket is gone, and this rocket actually shifts down here, so might be going for a little bit of a pincer strike with the indirects. The battleship floats out here and it starts hammering the rocket, as well as this rocket sneaking up from the side. And up here is not really a whole lot of action. Both sides are just kind of staring at each other. We have a ton of mechs, though. And I think Colin just wants to save money but still have units able to counter tanks. And then Javier actually used the lander to block the port, so now the mechs can never get inside this lander. So nice little find there with Javier. Just like as this lander is blocking this lander. These are like two pawns in chess just staring at each other next to each other on the board. All right, day 8 for Colin. All right, going in, takes out an infantry. And no way to protect this copter, though. It is going to get traded by the anti-air. But you want to deny all these infantry from capping. And Colin likes taking all these engagements because until Javier gets a second comm tower, the stats aren't going to be broken. And then Colin can just like keep pumping out more and more units with the money. And there's the gold rush, by the way, up to 148,000, which allows Colin to pump out even more units. And a bunch of tanks, a bunch of copters, everything. The rocket actually backs away from the comm tower, is afraid of the big scary battleship. Can't really blame it. So just backing off. Takes a few more shots, but Javier will be able to get to that pipe seam and get to the comm tower. Anti-air finishes off an infantry, finishes off the copter as well. Starting to cap some of these corner cities as well. Going in over here, going to convert these. And Colin right now is up 5 cities. Up 10k in income, but Javier is about to get some flips as Javier has now won this area as well, and the mechs are too far away to really help, but the tanks will be able to come in, get some trades in, and we'll see if Colin continues to go in, and Javier activates the tower shield. Now all the comm tower bonuses are doubled, able to break the pipe seam with the battleship, and starts the comm tower, blocks with the tank, and now there's no way through. Infantry gets picked off, and the comm tower will now go through, and Javier will have 20% attack and defense for the rest of the game, unless somehow Colin can take this off of Javier, which I don't think is possible. But this is also the scary part for Colin. This comm tower is under a huge threat right now from Javier, and if Javier gets 3 comm towers, the game is over. Javier's got Kanbei stats with none of the drawbacks, and will be able to just run roughshod through Colin's army. Even with that power of money, could still be very scary. And back to Colin, goes into the anti-air, another gold rush up to 26,000. Going in, taking out some infantry so that the comm tower cannot get captured. But this infantry still survives with 3 HP and starting some few caps. And there's the first Neo tank of the match, and it is well within range of this comm tower right here. So Javier's gonna have to. Oh, Javier had a Neo tank as well. So it's the second Neo tank of the match. First for Colin. This Neo tank, they'll just have to keep fighting over here. But as long as Colin can hold the comm tower, called the Colin snowball, it just rolls ever closer downhill. And once Colin just like gets 500k or whatever in the bank, that power of money will be able to vaporize everything. I wonder if we can like calc it. So let's say Colin, let's say a tank on the city with power of money activated with 22,000 in the bank. Yeah, no chance. Let's say it's a Neo tank, 22,000 in the bank. A regular tank knocks it down to 5 HP. Let's say there's half a mil in the bank. Chance to one-shot the Neo tank, and that's just the power of money. I mean, that's just how like powerful that ability is, and that's why Colin is tier 0, considered the second most broken CO in the game next to Hachi, and just changes fundamentally how the game is played. And back to Javier. Will we see an attack on that comm tower? Going in on some infantry. Oh, can't quite get the infantry takeout there. Was that a... I mean, I want to see this calculation here. Javier against a 7 HP infantry. Oh, okay. So if this was at a low 7, it was a roll. But either way, doesn't get it. So the rocket is safe. There's unfortunately no way to take out that 1 HP infantry for Javier. But Javier is trying to do as much damage as possible. Puts the Neo tank on the city. No power of money threat, so the Neo tank's still pretty safe. And just kind of shuffles down here on the bottom of the map. I needed to have done this in the replay viewer with the big red arrows. It's so hard to see what's going on with just how big this map is and the mixed base nature. There's fighting on all sides, and takes the black boat out. The black boat has fallen, and can put the 3 HP tank on the port to block, and then this infantry can go cap it next turn. And that's exactly what's going to happen. So Javier's won this area finally, but Colin did a great job of stalling out the comm tower for as many turns as possible, and has been able to kind of hold this force back as well. And all Colin has to do is stall the game until that power of money. I keep saying that over and over, but that's just basically the objective here as Colin. Goes in for the city cap, but that comm tower will remain safe. Another Neo tank comes out, and you also want to try to make Colin spend as much money as possible, so Colin can't save up for that gold, for the gold rush and power of money. Okay, bomber as well. Oh, no way! No way! That bomber only does 5 HP of damage to that infantry on the city. Wow. That's the power of Javier's extra defense. Oh my goodness. Infantry not able to get the KO, so it could be joint capped. That tank though does get taken out. Anti-air, no chance, and the 2 HP able to finally take out the infantry. And now Colin starts this city. Colin's up 2 cities right now. But it kind of comes down to this comm tower. Plants the Neo on the comm tower, another Neo right back in to reinforce. And I think the next big area of battle will be right here. Javier could push all of his forces up north and try to sandwich this area. Probably a good strategy with the, target that comm tower. But you got to be careful of Colin's force down here. We got 2 Neo tanks, 2 anti-airs, 3 regular tanks. That's no slouch. You can't just full commit over here. You have to defend your own area as well. And goes in, taking out a couple stragglers, and the mechs move up. The mechs slowly move up. Bunch of fights down here. There's no Neo tank counter, and trying to swipe the comm tower off of Javier. This could be huge. Javier needs to deny this, and the Neo tanks and tank will be able to punish any units to interrupt. So great find by Colin there. Tank also gets a shot, and the tank is actually no, it's not blocking, but it's kind of blocking. And 2 more Neo tanks hit the field. This is crazy. Colin is so busted. Look at so many Neo tanks. There's so many Neo tanks. So many Neo tanks. There were 5 Neo tanks built that turn. Oh my gosh, maybe even 6. That's absolutely crazy. Anti-air takes out the copter. Neo tank, one shot. Oh, this copter's glitch. It's taken out. Neo tank one shots the tank right there. And one shots that tank, able to take out this infantry, and Recon interrupts the cap. Tank's able to finish it off and gets a nice shot with the infantry over there. Now, starting to capture this central port, battleship moves up, and the battleship could, just stay out of rocket range, move up steadily, and start shelling this area from Colin. And that could be a huge swing as well. We're not seeing a power, though, from Javier. Maybe he thinks he doesn't need it or wants to get charged, but there it is, just as I say that. There's the tower shield. Now, Javier has 40% attack and 40% defense against, for all of his units, and 80% defense against indirects. This rocket is doing nothing. It is doing nothing. No damage at all. It goes in for the interrupts, and can't quite get the takeout, but does get a shot on the anti-air right there. Gets a couple shots over here, but there's a Neo right there. There's a Neo tank. The economic ability of Colin is unmatched. Anti-air, though, trades out the bomber. And unfortunately, that's just not a good value. That bomber did 5 damage to infantry. He got traded right back out. But Colin doesn't really care about value. Power of money is about to come in, and everything is about to get evaporated. More Neo tanks. Take some shots there, and the comm tower is safe for right now, but Colin's counterattack is about to be devastating. That pipe seam gets cleared, allowing this infantry to set his eyes on that city right there. All right, here comes Colin. What can Raito 94 cook up? Needs about 4K, 4.5K to get another power of money. And Javier's extra defense is not going to make too much of a difference, but only 175 grand in the bank, not going to be as strong. So Colin might be better served just popping the gold rush, multiplying that funds, and then waiting on the power of money, since Colin's got so many Neo tanks just everywhere on the field. Infantry does get finished off up there in the northeast corner. The mechs slowly move up. Another Neo tank comes in. There's the regular gold rush. I definitely agree with that play. Up to 26,000 funds. And the Neo tanks are going to clear out the stragglers. Yeah, just mopping them up. And it's 4 Neo tanks in this area. It's absolutely crazy. Anti-air just going to move over here. Doesn't take a shot there. Maybe just wants to avoid getting smacked by tanks. But this tank can still shoot. 2 more Neo tanks. Why not? And then Copter takes a shot. But these Copter on Copter engagements, not the best for Colin, as that extra defense from Javier enables Javier to get the upper hand, even though Colin does get the first strike. Black Bolt repairs. And Mex goes in, hits the recon. Neo tanks even go in for some shots on the Copter and knocks it down to 4. But the Neo tanks take damage in return. And it is time. It is official. This has been a high funds Colin game. You already know we got 2 mega tanks hitting the field, and Javier is in some trouble right here. How do you deal with all of these high teched up units? You got regular tanks versus Neo tanks and a mega tank in the area. These Neo tanks rumble forward, more rocket shots. They don't do a whole lot. Another bomber, because why not? Colin spent half the money, but it doesn't even matter because there's another mega tank hitting the field. Colin can just keep pumping out units, and Javier was not able to make it to the comm tower, and then Colin snowballs officially started. There's just way too many units for Javier to deal with, but Javier is not going down yet. Those extra stats, nothing to be sneezed at, and able to get some Copter KOs, as well as some good damage. Nice damage on the Neo tank. There's the tower shield, giving Javier even more attack and defense, back up to 40% attack and defense here for Javier. Moving in, going for a cap right here with that extra defense. This would be pretty strong, but how do you deal with all of these Neo tanks right here? I mean, like, let's take a gander. Like, let's say this regular tank against the 6 HP tank on a silo, it's still not doing that much to these Neo tanks. Even with the power activated, Colin no power, still not doing that much, right? So Javier has to make something happen. But got a lot of Neo tanks in this area going for that comm tower play, which I think you have to, but just trying to pick off all these weakened units and doing pretty good. Up in unit count by 6 units and more after more units get built. But it is now back to Colin. And will the Colin snowball continue? Bomber, oh man. This is the one time a bomber doesn't beat an anti-air. 7 HP anti-air on a port. It hits the bomber harder than the bomber hit it. When have you ever thought you'd see the day? That 40-40 stats with the minus 10% attack for Colin. Not even a bomber can win a good engagement there. But the Neo tank able to finish. No, it can't even. Wow, that's the power of these extra stats. Mega tank can't even finish off the medium tank. These extra stats proving very strong for Javier. Oh my goodness. Look at this. This is why Javier is also 2-0. Absolutely busted. This bomber, I mean, that anti-air right there is glitch. This bomber goes in. First strike on the anti-air. It deals 3, and the anti-air deals 8 back on the counterattack. Man, those stats are crazy. And I thought Colin was running away with this, but I am wrong. Javier's stats are just too strong. Sacrificing a tank right there might be going for the power of money. And there it is. And now Colin will have the firepower to be able to defeat Javier. Takes out an infantry right there on the bottom. And all of these tanks are about to get cleared off the field as the Neo tanks one-shot everything in their path. That whole side from Javier is about to get obliterated. Even does 7 damage on the Copter right there. Uh-oh. Well, that did not... Oh, this thing is only at 2 HP. Okay, that's why it didn't do a lot. That makes a lot of sense. Knocks that lander down to 1 HP as well. And everything is just kind of getting shelled. Medium tank or mega tank goes in the lander and now is ready to fight this anti-air as well. That anti-air is going down. Battleship gets hit for 2 damage by the 3 HP Copter. It'd be cool to see like an air carrier trying to lock down some air units, but... I don't think there's like air carrier here. Yeah, I can lock down the airport. So it'd be nice to see an air carrier. But they are very expensive and not very situational. Very, very, very situational. I've seen like an actual air carrier built like twice. And one time was on that map, Vadum. No, it was Operation Venice, where you have those airports and then the port like 6 spaces away. And I saw an air carrier built in a YouTube video. I think it was by Degis, where the air carrier was locking down the airport. But the Neo tanks are just going to clean up everything, blocking for this infantry, capturing the comm tower, and in 2 turns that'll get flipped, and that would definitely be the game right there. That you cannot let it happen. More mega tanks, more bombers, more Neo tanks. Colin can just throw units away willy-nilly. Another mega tank, a jet fighter, and this is just absolutely crazy. A black boat as well. Colin's just spending all of that cash. Battleship only deals 1 damage to the mega tank, and Javier keeps fighting. Keeps going in. Anti-air deals 2 damage to the copter before getting taken out. This anti-air takes out, or to the bomber, I mean, this anti-air takes out that bomber, and maybe some Neo tanks will take some shots. Regular tank takes out the mech, and the mechs actually all get picked off. Not worried, not going into that power of money counterattack. You definitely don't. Let's say Javier like took this Neo tank right here and plopped it on this plains tile and hit this Neo tank. It with that power of money extra attack bonus, it is clapping Javier's Neo tank. So Javier's got to be careful. That super is still active. Got a rocket as well, kind of protect it with the anti-air and infantry. Going for a couple shots right here, but there's a gap right here, but I'm sure Colin's going to close that, get that comm tower flip, and that would be absolutely devastating. More units come out, and everything is just flying across the board as we see yet another Neo tank build, but Colin just out-ecoing Javier. Javier, though, up 4 cities. Yeah, 8,000 income. So that's 4 cities in high funds. So that's also a nice advantage for Javier. And there's a fighter, but this just so many Neo tanks. How do you deal with that many Neo tanks? How do you deal with these mega tanks? The bombers, you know? Colin could just keep pumping out. And, you know, the fighter is nice, but Colin can pump out his own fighter. Well, she did, but he can pump out another fighter. Just have the whole Air Force coming in. Pipe seems to get cleared out, and now Colin can try and make a push for this comm tower as the infantry gets in the lander. Probably drop out right here and get ready to hit that comm tower. And Colin clears a couple of these stragglers, blocks for the comm tower cap, and yeah, that thing's going through. It's got 1 capture point left. It's at 2 HP infantry has survived, and Colin's basically locked down this area. And Colin's just building a bunch of black boats to repair this copter, which I guess I can appreciate the black boat spam. Just keep repairing the copter. Hitting the battleship. Mega tank knocks that Neo tank down to 1 HP. Bomber is able to hit that anti-air. Mega tank and Neo tank, it doesn't even matter. It's a copter. Fighter finishes off the copter. It is within fighter range, though, so Javier could get a nice counterattack. Javier's got the super, which would make his units at 60% attack and defense until that comm tower gets flipped. So we might see the super. We might see a regular power. Colin also activates the Gold Rush and takes a few more shots at the Neo tanks, builds 2 more Neo tanks down here because why not? 2 Neo tanks down here every turn is absolutely brutal. Back to Javier. There's the Tower of Power. What can Javier make happen on this turn? Good shot on the Neo tank. Yep, that bomber is obliterated. That Neo tank down to 2 HP. And with the regular tank, able to take it out. It just feels like Colin can just pump out these units faster than Javier can take them out, you know? And it's just like a zombie apocalypse. More just keep coming and coming no matter what you do. A couple more Neo tanks get shot. Battleship shot that one. This Neo tank here gets shot by the copter in the tank, allowing this Neo tank to go in and gets to the comm tower. Oh no, there was a hole in Colin's blocking there, and maybe Colin could have just tried to make a huge wall right there, but Javier is able to save the comm tower and save the game. When with there's 2 comm towers bonuses are tripled, 60% attack and defense units. Everything is absolutely invincible right now. Even these infantry right here against like this mega tank, for example, it deals nothing. During superpower, this mega tank 0 damage on the infantry right here. Even if it wasn't Colin, doesn't have the bonus. Like let's say it's a max mega tank, Still no damage on this infantry right here. That's the craziness of Javier when you get those comm towers. So Javier absolutely had to get that comm tower right there. Does get it, and is able to get nice damage, knocking that fighter all the way down to 1 HP. Starts this cap up 5 cities, up 10k income. His Javier clawed back in the game. I mean, these Neotanks are scary, but with these bonuses, like Javier can just, get these winning engagements and just bleed Colin out of value, or at least out of units. I mean, Javier's units are invincible this turn. Invincible. Absolutely crazy. There's a mega tank from Javier as well, because that super is not going to last forever. Your units aren't going to be invincible forever. Although that Neo tank did take out this infantry there. It said that mega tank did nothing, but this Neo tank's able to take out this one. But that's glitched. Because the terrain stars scale with HP. So this is at 2 HP, so that's why it was going down. Okay, that makes sense. Healing the mega tank and resupplying, because the mega cannon only has 3 bullets, and the bomber only does 2 damage to the Neo tank. Wow. Yep, only does 1 damage to that. So Colin sees the writing on the wall, able to take out some of these weakened units though. But just kind of regrouping, can't really go in, building some more units though. There's another jet fighter over here to counter the copter, and maybe a copter on here the jet fighter could counter as well. And that battleship just keeps getting whittled down by this copter, which is slowly getting healed up by these black boats. The portable repair station right here. I love it. Now the tank goes in, and Colin's just regrouping. The super will wear off next turn, and that's when Colin will strike. But so many units getting built, so many mega tanks. We have 5 mega tanks and 14 neo tanks for Colin, whereas Javier has 1 mega tank and 6 neo tanks. And fighter is able to dispatch the bomber quite easily over here, and they're just kind of keep going in, take out a tank right there. Everything here is just kind of staying back though. Almost hit the next turn button, and that would have been crazy. Just hit the next turn and everything on the board just flies. Got to be disorienting. All right, everything is going back here, kind of walling up. Copter goes in. Okay, doing some small chip damage to the Neo tank. Not anything super productive. This Neo tank able to get a nice shot in. Mega tank. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4. Could it not have hit the Neo tank? Oh no, because the woods. Okay, it was on the woods. So fair enough. Going after this pipe seam just for giggles. Builds a black boat, but that black boat's blocked in. So maybe the black boat just be like a healer over here on this square. But this is a tier 0 Z game, so like, players aren't like sweating super hard. So just, keep that in mind, because this isn't like a competitive tournament match. There's a lot of like memery going on, especially with all these Neo tanks and stuff. Just wanted to have that caveat, Able to do some damage on that Neo tank, but these stats for Javier still really strong. But this comp tower has been basically sealed off. So we're just kind of like trading a bunch of units, trading territory right now. But Javier increasing that city lead, actually crawled right back into the game. And the Colin snowball might have been stopped, but now Colin's going to be able to attack this area right here. And if this section falls to Colin can convert all of these cities back, block the base in the airport and the port, win the game. So Javier's got to be careful right here. Everything else just kind of shuffles around, shooting that battleship some more. The black boats actually trap the fighter. Wow. Good find there by Colin. The fighter has now been trapped and won't be able to contribute anymore to the Battle of the Skies. But the fighter did take out a bomber, so it did make up for its value already. Even though Colin value is a little different. And there's the gold rush up to 200k basically. Just right back up there. And yep, there's a mega tank down there, because why not? A submarine I hear from Colin. Only in high funds with these giant lakes do you see submarines. Submarines are like the bomber of naval units. They absolutely wreck naval units. They're like the best counter to battleships. Let's see. Colin submarine against Javier battleship. 10 HP. doing a half damage, even with Javier's bonuses there. If there was no defense bonuses, still does a lot of damage right there. And then to the lander, whereas the lander, the comm towers still does a ton of damage. So I think Colin just wants to clear the lander right here and be able to free this lander to be able to transport the infantry to get that comm tower. Everything else just kind of shuffles forward, and we're about to see units flying as per the usual. This game's just absolutely crazy. There's the tower shield, able to go in on this Neo tank as well, and just trying to chip these Neo tanks down, whittle away Colin's numbers, and increase that city lead. There's no capture limit. I am not sure if there was a day limit. This was a submitted replay, and actually, both players independently submitted this replay. I forgot to say that at the very beginning. So if both players are going to submit it independently, I have to cover it. That is the rule, all right? So that's just how it goes. This game is absolutely wild. Battleship now just finally goes back to get healed, and the anti-air covers any possible copter shots. But Javier, he got the power, but not really pushing into this. Doesn't quite have the firepower to deal with 4 mega tanks in the area. Not to mention 4 Neo tanks about to get there. But maybe Javier can make something happen down here. Javier has won this little contested corner down here, and that's where the lead has come from. But Colin has pushed back over here, and the lander moved out of the way. The sub hides amidst the water. You need a unit to reveal it, and then only a sub or a cruiser can shoot if the submarine is submerged. But cruisers obliterate subs, so we might see a cruiser come out of here to hit the sub, but I don't know if Javier will spend the money. And the anti-air hits the fighter, does not do enough damage, and there's the gold rush up to 200k again, 220k. Might see, yep, there's another Neo tank. Why not? The game is snowballing, and the Neo tanks look like snowballs, and they just keep multiplying. There's another mega tank as well. And Colin's forces are Colin's now got the big unit value lead, especially, and that's just multiply that or divide that by 0.8, and that's Colin's actual unit lead because the discount is figured into that. So Colin is doing great as far as the unit value. Just is down in cities, which in high funds is a big deal, but less big a deal for Colin because Colin has that cheaper discount, and when that power of money comes in, Javier's extra defense not going to make a bit of difference. Everything else just kind of moves up, and we kind of have some advanced walls over here, and takes out the T-copter. Will we see any more engagements over here on the northwest corner? Not quite. Not quite. Surrounds the black boat and takes a shot with the copter. Fair enough. And there's a medium tank. So now Javier's going to fight up here for this area. But Colin has wrested away this area from Javier. But as long as the comm tower is protected, Javier is big chilling. And Colin's going to keep going in. Or, sorry, Javier's just keep doing this. And Colin's going to keep going in over here is what I meant to say. But I was getting way too ahead of myself. Yep, going in on the pipe seam as well, making it all the faster for this base to reinforce this fight over here on the east side. And the mega tank goes in, and it is no longer advanced walls as the mega tanks move forward. Anti-air deals plenty of damage to that fighter, knocking it down to 1 HP, repairing the copters. This black boat's running out of fuel, so this black boat repairs it. And we just have so many black boats over here healing all of Colin's units around and in this lake. The fighter takes out the 1 HP fighter, and Colin goes in. The copter takes out the infantry. Neo tank takes out that Neo tank, allowing this Neo tank to can't quite get that one. But the mega tanks are about to obliterate the infantry. But Tower of Power is about to come back in, and all Javier's units are about to be invincible. And there's the gold rush up to 250k. And might see more Neo tanks, more mega tanks coming back in, more bombers as another infantry gets picked off. This Neo tank all the way down to 3 HP. Sacrifices the anti-air for damage. I don't understand that, but maybe just trying to... I know why. Okay, so sacrifices this mega... Remember, the mega cannon only has 3 bullets. It's got 2 left. So sacrifices the anti-air to drain... 3 bullets. Sacrifices the anti-air to drain the first bullet. It's got 2 left. Now, the Neo tank drains another bullet, and then this Neo tank drains the final bullet, which means this mega tank, if it were in range, wouldn't get counterattacked. It would only get counterattacked by machine guns, and it would do nothing. So this Neo tank can go and take a shot, and then the Mega tank can only do like 2% back to it, right? So nice job by sacrificing a couple units to drain the Mega tank out of ammo. The Mega tank will be able to go back and get repaired, but that will allow Colin to have this infantry get on the comm tower. We might see another push for that comm tower, and that thing could end the game on the spot. Fighter hits that copter down to 1 HP, and this is like a no-fly zone for naval units with this submarine. It will just obliterate all of them, so you got to be careful. But Javier might be able to clear that black boat. And yeah, I mean, how do you deal with 5 mega tanks over here? A bomber, another Neo tank, an anti-air, 2 copters. Javier's got 4 Neo tanks on this side of the map, but these 2 are kind of far away. We might see another Tower of Power, though. And will we see it? There it is, the Tower of Power. Oh, that 1 HP copter could not do anything to that 2 HP Neo tank, though. Anti-air takes out the fighter and going in on the Neo tank, dealing lots of good damage on these. The Neo tank blocks the airport for right now, and there's nothing really Javier can do. Colin is also pushing this area, and I mean, yeah, look at the value over here for Colin versus Javier. I mean, just think about, like, this is only 80% of Colin's like actual unit value, and Colin is like just running away with the value. But will Javier be able to use this Tower of Power to their advantage? Well, able to take out a Neo tank and a copter, able to take out another Neo tank. But I mean, it feels like Javier is just like working really hard to get these like takeouts on these units, and then Colin just makes them like that, you know, the opposite of Thanos, just snaps them into existence. And yeah, I mean, everything's invincible now for a turn, but it doesn't even matter. Colin can just keep building all these expensive units. Tower of Power wears off, and then Colin's just back in the driver's seat. But Javier is able to take control of the game back a little bit. And Colin's not able to really push into that big blob. Back to Colin. What can Colin cook up? Mega tank deals some good damage on the anti-air, able to finish it off. Not quite finish it off, but this Neo tank does not do good on that attack. Maybe you could have just... if you just sit there, it's still getting blasted. But trying to block the airport. Got to block all of Javier's production facilities and just overwhelm Javier with units. As the mega tanks go in on the anti-air, even 2 mega tanks and a Neo tank cannot take out an 60% defense anti-air. It's absolutely crazy. And Colin activates the gold rush up to 300k. And once that power of money comes in, Tower of Power might not even make the difference. Bang, takes out the lander with the bomber. The fighter also does some good damage. This lander traps the fighter in, but the fighter will be able to counterattack this fighter and might be able to do some significant damage. Oh my gosh, this game is insane. This is so long. I need some like water after this one, man. Now I know how Humida feels when he was casting like 8 games in a row. I'm just kidding. This is like a 47-minute video so far, and there's nothing compared to the APC2 coverage. But hey, you know what? You got to admire the effort. He really put a lot of work into that tournament, both organizing and casting all of the qualifier games on his stream, and then going in and streaming the actual main event. So I imagine he is exhausted right now and doesn't even like want to think about Advance Wars. But going in over here a little bit, just taking some shots, but it's always going to be some bad counterattacks for Colin, or some good counterattacks for Javier, some bad engagements for Colin, as long as that super is active for Javier. But what can Javier do? Trying to clean up some of these units. Does clear that Neo tank. The anti-air, though, is not in range, so could build like something right here with 58k. He got plenty of money to build like a bomber or something there, which could help against the mega tank spam. But now Colin's clawing back over here, trying to get this flip as well. Flip this one, and gonna go after this one too, but taking out some copters. Going in on the Neo tank, and going on the mega tank, takes it out. And Javier's almost equalized the game. Colin's still way up in unit count though. Javier does get a few nice little pickoffs on Neo tanks. This area's got a lot weaker now from Colin since Colin shifted up here, and Javier was able to win those engagements. But we could see a little snowball, and it's glitching out there. It's 150,000 charge to get that power of money. So Javier definitely big chillin'. Another tower shield could come in as well, and we'll see if Javier can claw back in this crazy game. Absolutely nuts. Going in on the Mega Tank, knocks it down to 1 HP. Neo Tank able to finish it off. That's got to hurt. And Bomber knocks that Battleship down to 4 HP. This fighter's just going to get repaired by all these black boats. That's funny. Going in and takes out the Medium Tank. Mega Tank hits that lander to 2 HP. Neo Tank takes out the anti-air. This anti-air able to take out the infantry. And Colin just keeps moving up. Could see a push on this base. Right here and the airport, and if those fall, that's pretty much the game. Also, we're seeing an incursion here as Colin's Neotanks and Bombers have encroached in Javier's territory right here. You got the base, whereas the base is right here, and then the airport. But if those get locked down and Colin can just pincer strike this area, then that's really bad for Javier. Again, just another win condition for Colin. Javier's got this force right here, but these units, except for the rocket, are not going to do that much to mega tanks. So Colin's kind of locked down every area right now and is now just going in. Going to fight over here as well, taking out a couple anti-airs. And this game is just absolutely crazy. There's the Gold Rush up to almost 400,000. And almost Gold Rush not even useful at this point. But there's a battleship coming out from Colin. I think Colin just wants to keep multiplying money and building expensive units, knowing that this is going to snowball, but another Tower of Power is ready. It is online as this fighter got repaired all the way from 2 to 5 with those black boats. Actually 1 to 5 because this black boat started. But there's a Tower of Power. How much damage can Javier do? Gonna take out a Mega Tank, gonna take out a second Mega Tank, and gonna take out can't quite take out the Neo Tank, but does go in there on the anti-air. And takes out the Mega Tank, just obliterates that thing. Takes out the infantry. The 2 HP Neo Tank cannot do enough to that Neo. And Javier's defended this area, but Colin still has a ton of using presence. Gonna try and go for that flip as well in the south. And maybe he can do something to these bombers. Fighter, yep, takes out that bomber right there. No chance of it getting trapped by black boats. And anti-air takes out a bomber as well. So definitely stalled out. Colin's attack. Oh my gosh, this video is the longest video of my life. But this is very chaotic. I'm definitely exhausted after this one. This is the craziest game I've ever seen. So crazy. Absolute chaos. All right, Colin's going to keep fighting over here, but cannot take winning engagement so long as that super is active and these Neo tanks are just getting damaged. But Colin does not really care. Just got to keep the fighting going. Can't let Javier regroup. Takes out the battleship, and that fighter goes in. Not a good engagement there as the fighter ends up pretty much taking 2 fighters down, and it's still ahead in HP. Dang, those extra stats for Javier are so good. Like, if it were any other CO but Colin over here, Javier would probably run away. Maybe Hachi as well would be a big problem. But there's another Gold Rush back up to 420,000. Spending a bit of money on repairs and traps the fighter in. But another fighter is there from Javier, so we're going to see... and this port's going to fall. Colin could build a battleship there as well, or an air carrier and lock down the airport. And I do want to see an air carrier. Air carrier would be so hype right now. But we're not going to see air carriers. We're just going to see some infantry being taken out by anti-airs. Back to Javier, and that charge is just going straight back up. Needs 130,000 for Tower of Power, but able to hit these expensive units and just suck up all that charge. And very nice. Blocking over here, the artillery is now in range of the Mega Tank. So Colin's got to be careful about this, this force slowly trying to push onto this base in this airport right here. But Medium Tank and Neo Tank able to take out that Neo Tank, and that Mega Tank over here in the northwest can't quite... Oh, the rocket and the artillery do a ton of damage, so the Neo Tanks will be able to finish it off. Medium Tank able to finish off that. Javier still up 6 cities right now, and takes out the anti-air. And this is just absolutely nuts absolutely nuts. But almost halfway to another tower of power. I don't even know if it's worth popping a tower shield at this point. Too many expensive units. There's a bomber. There's no anti-air or fighter or air carrier from Colin. I want to see an air carrier. If I don't see an air carrier, I will be like a little bit upset. But air carriers just are very situational, like I said. Blocks the port with the black boat and goes in on the mega tank, dealing some good damage to it, knocking it down to 3. But another gold rush is in the works. We might see Colin use it. We might see Colin try to save up. And starting the comm tower again. Doesn't quite have the blockers for it, though. So just might want to start a fight. We got 5 Neo tanks in this area. Well, 4, and then this 2 HP to 1 Neo tank for Javier. So Colin fought over here, made Javier kind of vacate, now separated Javier's forces here and here. And so great positioning there by Colin, getting that comm tower. There's the gold rush, up to 500,000 in funds, and Mega Tank's going to pick off some units, as well as the anti-air, as well as the bomber, picking off that medium tank. And I don't know how Javier can come back from this. Obviously, you have to stop that comm tower cap, but everything is just getting absolutely obliterated. And Colin's got a little weaker over here, not as much presence, but Colin can probably get through with the Mega Tank over here, hitting artillery, and we'll see. We'll see what kind of magic Javier can cook up. But this video is already really long, so I don't want to just have it take forever. But there's another tower of power, and Javier is doing his best to hold on. Doing a lot of damage to that tank with anti-airs. Starts this. Oh, this could be huge. Starts that comm tower, and if Javier gets that, we'll now have Kanbei units, and then you don't even need tower of power. You can just pop your regular power over and over, and everything is going to be great. Takes out the unit on the comm tower. Absolutely huge right there. Going in for some more shots. Just all across the field. Everything, gets trapped on the submarine. The submarine traps the copter from attacking the Neo tank, and that is wild. As the copter ran into the hidden submarine and lost its move. Copter trades itself out, and everything else just kind of shuffles. We'll see if Colin can make a play there on that comm tower. If that comm tower falls, it could be GG. But right now this area is looking pretty dicey as well. Everything else shuffles up. Colin actually retreats up here. And goes in. Oh, okay. Able to break through. Not hitting hits the anti-air instead of the comm tower. What is going on? Is there any unit that... Oh, no, the bomber can't hit it. Just going to let Javier get the comm tower? Oh, no. Oh, no. Javier is now back in this. Well, Colin just has so many units, though. I mean, look at this unit value. But you can... Oh, my gosh. I thought this Neo tank would go for the interrupt, but it didn't. And now Javier is going to get the comm tower. Another submarine. But more black boats. Everything is just getting built. Everything, every unit in the game is in this map except cruisers and air carriers. Copter's going to shoot at some black boats. Oops, I rewound instead of going forward. Bomber hits the battleship. The comm tower got flipped. Everything is so strong now for Javier. 30% attack and defense. Kanbei units. Takes out the pipe seam, and everything kind of regroups over here. Shuffles, trying to make a push on that base, but Javier does not have the firepower and getting closer to that power of money, and we could see Colin just wipe everything off the board next turn if Colin gets the charge, which I think he will. Everything moves forward. This is just chaos. I have lost the plot. I can't even follow what's going on right now as more Neo tanks take shots. Shooting at the medium tank bomber as well. The power of money definitely coming next turn, if not this one. More units are getting shot at. Just Colin is taking all of these like poor engagements. Who cares? You got to get that charge. And there's the power of money. What is going to happen? Mega tank goes down. Neo tank goes down. That Neo tank goes down. Gets on the comm tower, but can't really do anything. And that medium tank went down. This infantry is ready to capture that comm tower, so Colin will be able to get the comm tower back. Bomber comes in. Yep, bomber on anti-air. It doesn't even matter with that power of money. Takes it out. And all these artilleries are going to fall. These infantry falling as well to the mechs and the Neo tank. And starting this cap. Oh, I went too far. But I basically ended up Oh, actually, he's like skipped a turn. Let's see. That was turn 22, right? Turn 23 was this. Yeah, I went too far. Okay, so this was the Power of Money turn, right? So after Javier's turn, it's Colin. Yes, this is the turn we just looked at. Okay, I recovered. I recovered back. We are good. We are good. Okay, so back to where we were. Now Colin goes in over there, just picking off every single possible unit, starting a cap. Javier's income advantage doesn't even matter. Blocking the base, blocking the airport. Can't block that base, but I mean this is pretty cooked for Javier, unfortunately, and able to block this base as well. That Power of Money is great, and Colin is basically one blocking all these production units. There's a cruiser as well, because cruisers are also really good against air units. We're going to take out all those units, and Javier pops the Tower of Power, but unfortunately it is too little too late. Does clear the base in the airport, though, and clears that one. So Javier will be able to produce some units, get the nice defense bonuses, and be able to hold on. But the Colin Snowball is just too strong. There's 7 black boats over here. There's 8 black boats, I mean, all in this lake. This is absolutely nuts. 2 submarines, so many battleships locking down the harbor and the base as well. And Colin can't really go in, so we'll just have to rest for a turn as wait for the Tower of Power to wear off. But even though Javier got this comm tower, like Colin is still just so far ahead that it doesn't even matter. And Javier's going to take some shots at some mega tanks, hit some units, but it is too little too late as the Colin Snowball is officially avalanched and the game is over. And back to Colin here in a second. So many units. Yeah, Colin just obliterates everything. It's going to clear this mega tank right here. Almost has the Power of Money. Gets it. There it is. And everything dies. And that's pretty much it, as all of Javier's units disappear. And that was the craziest game I've ever seen, and my longest video over an hour. So I apologize for that. I know I'm skipping through these last couple turns, but the game has been pretty over at that point. So I just skipped through them, and Javier activates. And I'm pretty sure resignation is in short order. Because I think, yep, and Javier resigns. Oh my goodness. That game broke my brain. I wonder if the stats graphs will work. No chance. Right? No chance. I wonder if they'll actually load. Oh my gosh. What a crazy, crazy game. Where the early game was Colin did a great job holding off that second comm tower, and then mid game Javier with that initial Tower of Power did a good job, but that Colin Snowball is just too strong and too many neo tanks, too many mega tanks for Javier to deal with, and Javier eventually was overwhelmed. As you can see here by the total funds, yeah, Colin is obviously going to destroy that. But let's check out army value, and even with that extra discount from Colin's power or passive power, Colin just outmatched Javier in value. Javier is pink. I changed the color on my end, and I should hide those or hide my webcam so you can see just how devastating that Colin Snowball is. I changed the color on my end to be black hole, but it's pink here on the graphs. And damage dealt, actually pretty comparable. But still, what a crazy, crazy game. And this is my longest video ever. So without further ado, I'll see you in the next one.